Hey, I'm Courtney Waterman, your tutor. Lover of anime, manga, and math. And you just tuned into another session of Tutor Me Sempai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be continuing our 10th grade topic, congruent triangles. However, in today's video, we're going to be focusing only on those shortcuts, those two shortcuts that we said did not guarantee congruence. If you're new to my channel, I'll be putting timecodes in for this video in the description box below, so use that to skip ahead to whatever part of the video you think is most interesting. As always, if you have any questions about what you see today, or even your own homework, you can always put in the comment box below, or visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. Today's video will have two parts, so leave a like, smash the subscribe, and let's get started. So let's jump straight into our first shortcut. We're going to be covering angle, angle, angle first. And we have this little triangle here. So assuming for this little triangle, we have all three angles known. Now, angle, angle, angle says that our two triangles will be congruent if we know for both triangles we have congruent angles. That means both triangles have all of their angles congruent to one another. And today I want to show you why just knowing all three of your angles are congruent for both triangles is not enough information to guarantee congruent triangles. So let's start from this one triangle here and let's create another triangle with all three angles congruent to this one. And in order to do that, let's expand some of these lines that we have here. So I'm going to use a different marker so we can see this new triangle form. And we're going to make a parallel line to this one. So we're going to try to match this up as much as we can to make this same parallel line like right up here. So I'm going to do it like right here. So this is going to have an angle here and an angle here. Now, what did I just do? Well, I use these existing sides to extend them out just a little bit more, and I connected them with this third line here. However, behind the scenes, what I've really done is I've introduced two parallel lines, and we know from talking about corresponding angles, whenever you have a parallel line that's intersected by a third line, we call that third line a transversal, we create corresponding angles. But not only do we create corresponding angles, our corresponding angles are going to be congruent. So this angle is congruent to this angle. So we're going to mark that with a blue marker here. And this angle is congruent to this angle. For the very same reason, we have two parallel lines here intersected by this transversal. So we have the corresponding angles, but not only are they corresponding, they're also congruent. So we have these two angles congruent to these two angles. And this third angle is going to be the common angle for our two triangles. They both have the same third angle, thus it has to be congruent. So we have two triangles here. Our smaller triangle that we started with and our larger triangle. So we ignore this line here and we have our larger triangle here. But what do you notice about these triangles? Yes, all three angles are going to be equal to one another. However, these sides are drastically different. Because this is a smaller version of this larger triangle, we know that the sides are not going to be equal. But what do you need for a triangle to be considered congruent to another triangle? We need not only all three angles from that triangle to be equal to all three angles of the other triangle, we need all three sides to be congruent or equal to all three sides of the other triangle. And in this case, we have something that's clearly not the same. We have three sides that are very different. All three sides are actually different in this case, right? We have a side here, which is much smaller, right? Because it's only a part of that total side. We have a side here, which is once again a part of this total side, so much smaller, and we can assume, safely assume, that this line is a lot longer than this line just because it's connecting a space that's a little bit bigger than down here. So in this triangle, all three sides are actually greater than our sides in our original triangle, but we have all three angles being congruent. Therefore, we can't say just because you have angle, 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 your two triangles will be congruent. Let's move on to side, side angle. So here we have our setup for side, side angle. And we're going to be using this circle to show that we can't rely on side-side angle to prove triangle congruence. And in order to do that, we're going to be utilizing the fact that a circle's radius is always equal. That means whatever side you draw this radius to, so this side of this circle, this side of the circle, this side of the circle, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be the same value. The same length radius is going to be true. So let's do that. Let's use the radius to complete our triangle. So the first side is going to be here. And remember, you have to go to the outer part of the circle here. So we have to go right where the circle intersects that baseline here. So I'm going to do this right here. Great, so now we have one triangle. Let's do another side. So let's extend this out, and we're going to put it all the way over here. We're going to intersect this base right here. Using the radius of this circle, we have formed two distinct triangles. Now let's see what we have here. We're going to kind of break these up, and I'm going to draw them very general so you can kind of see them outside of this diagram. So these are going to be the general shapes of the triangles we drew here. Now I want you to notice something. For these triangles, we had the same angle here, right? That same angle on the outside. And because they were the same angle, we have them being congruent. We also are using that same side here. So this side was going to be congruent to that side there. The only thing that's different is this last side. Now this side here is the radius of the circle, and this side here is also the radius of a circle. So we know they have to be equal, right? So we can say that these two sides are congruent. Now, if you look at it, we have side-side angle, and I'm very intentional by going side-side angle and not the other way around. No laughs, no giggles, but we have side-side angle, and we have side-side angle. However, our two triangles are very, very different. You can't even assume that these will be remotely equal because we have very different third lines here. Now by this time you may see that there are some cases in which side-side angle and angle will have two triangles be congruent. However, because this is not the general rule or the general experience, there's more of like one-off cases. We don't trust these as a whole to prove congruent triangles, whereas the other ones that we discussed in my previous video, you can use those pretty much for any triangle except that special one that has to be a right triangle. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can see the link to my previous video right up here in which we talked about 4 general ones, kind of like side-side angle, except they work for all triangles, and we have a special one, hypotenuse leg, that works specifically for our right triangle. Unfortunately, angle, and side-side angle are not going to be part of that group, and you see from today's video why. If you have at least one example in which it doesn't work, it kind of shakes the foundation for trusting this for much more. So I hope you're following today's video, and I hope you see why we can't blindly trust side-side angle and angle to prove congruent triangles. But if you have any question about what you saw today or even your own homework, you can always put it in the comment box below or visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you haven't done so already, remember to leave that like. It really helps the channel by letting YouTube know that you found this video helpful. And if you found it helpful, so can someone else. So leave a like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share this video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week, and I really hope that this helped with your homework. I'm Courtney, and this is another session of Tutor Me Sempai.